All right, so let's move forward. And moving forward, here is a very interesting point. We had already looked at what it takes to go ahead and create an AI-based funnel and how are AI funnels different from the traditional funnels. And we never spoke about the stages of the funnel. We didn't want to get into that because we just wanted to understand, even before you create an AI-based funnel, you need to understand how are they different and what are the advantages that you bring them and how data becomes the center. The architecture of AI-based funnels is what we looked at in the previous screen. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to get into the juicier part of the discussion where we try and map the activities that we have, and we're going to try and map AI with the stages of the funnel. The stages of the funnel, as you may know, are awareness, interest, consideration, intent, purchase, retention, and advocacy. You can apply this structure to any of the funnel structures that you may have heard about in the past, that you have run in the traditional environment. You go ahead and get as much awareness as possible, then you try and generate interest, then you try and make people to consider your product, then you make their intent stronger, then you make them purchase, then you try to retain them, then you go ahead and try and get them to spread the word about your product. This is a traditional funnel structure that we have always used and we have always looked at, right? So what is the different that we're going to do here in this screen is we're trying to understand how or what happens in the awareness stage that we didn't know already, right? Now let's talk about it. When you speak about an awareness, when you speak about awareness in the traditional environment, what did you do? You either ran paid ads or you had content at your disposal where you started producing, generating organic content to go on YouTube, or maybe you have written a few blogs, you did your SEO, then you had a few, let's say, a referral or referring domains where you started posting forums, Reddit, etc. And then you got traffic from all the sources possible so that you are now in a better position to go ahead and promote your product, right? But now things are going to get different, and this is the most interesting part of it. Now, we are not resorting to any of the activities that we have done in the past. Remember, we are living in the AI world. Now, we are going to do things differently. Now, first, when you speak about awareness, you still have your traditional Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, video marketing, etc. But you're going to rely heavily on AI tools. And please understand, disclaimer, this is a disclaimer of the session. This session or creating AI funnels is not going to be revolving around tools because tools are just a part of the discussion. They are in no way a savior or a problem solver for your funnel problems or creating your funnel. They're mere tools. They can hold things without falling together. They can hold things without letting things fly all over the place, but they will not do the job for you. Ultimately, it is your strategy, which is the backbone, which has to work in your favor. So in the awareness section, at the awareness stage, we are running Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. But along with that, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create content using platforms or AI tools like Jasper, you have copy.ai, you have Jarvis, you have copy.ai, you have Snazzy, you have ChatGPT, you have, let's say, you have DALI, you have Midjourney, you have Runway, you have Synthesia, where you will go ahead and churn volume of content that was very difficult in the past. You will go ahead and you will produce content at scale using these generative AI tools. Once you have the content, what are the ways you could generate interest among people? Now you have content, which means you're getting traffic, which means you have awareness, which means people are coming in from ads, from forums, from organic content, from YouTube channel, from your Instagram reels. They're all coming to your landing page, right? Once they're here, how do you generate that interest? This is where you will have email automation systems, which is Involve.me, Opt-in Monster, Personalizely, chatbots like Drift and Intercom. Now, this is where we need to stop for a second. How is this different from the traditional system? It is not different when you're only looking at the stages. First you had awareness, then you have interest. It is exactly similar to how traditional AI funnels worked. But if you start paying close attention, traditional funnels, only people who came to your landing page, depending on how they interacted or whether they proceeded to the next stage of the funnel or not, you maybe at the most you ran some remarketing ads, or maybe you did some email outreach, or maybe you did some email automation systems in place. But here is how things are going to be different. How are we going to generate interest among people? The tools involved, I will be talking about them in a few minutes from now. But let me give you a brief example of how are we going to generate that interest. The way we are trying to generate interest is we will have very, very attractive, let's say, pop-ups, right? These are not just any pop-up which will go ahead and ask you to put in your email ID. These are gamified pop-ups, which means if you have seen any of the e-commerce stores where there is a spin to win wheel, where you click on it and then it spins and you get a pre-programmed 10% off, right? Now, let's say first shipping or free shipping or anything of that sort. Now, this is one kind of pop-up. The other things that we're talking about is we are going to have engage people by generating interest, by providing them, let's say, interest calculators. We are trying to go ahead and come up with activities like quizzes, right? If you're talking about a weight loss product or if you're talking about a skin clinic, you will run a skin awareness quiz, which means understand your skin, right? How do you know about your skin? Answer these 10 questions and we will tell you what your skin type is. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is selling already without selling, right? If somebody did that to me, if I am looking at buying a car, and if I go ahead and look at a website, if I go to the website, if they have asked me 10 questions to know what is the best car for you, and if they got me into this quiz, trust me, I'm already sold on the idea of buying the car with these guys, right? So this is how AI is appealing to users by giving them exactly what they need at the right stage, right? Now, once that is done, then you move to the consideration phase. Now, this is my favorite part of the discussion. Why is my favorite part of the discussion? When will a user when does a visitor go away from being a mere visitor to somebody who is now considering the product? You've got the awareness, that's how you're on the landing page. Then you have interest, where they've kind of hooked you with these quizzes and with these lead magnets, which is like 10 questions to know if you're AI ready. I could just tell you that if you're a business owner, here are 10 things that you should, or here are 10 questions to know if you're AI ready, if your business is ready for automation, what kind of things you can automate. And I can craft very beautiful I can have a very beautifully crafted questionnaire with just 10 questions to understand or to hook you to what I'm trying to sell, right? Now, from there, how does this guy start considering me, right? This is exactly where the magic happens. Any visitor who comes to your website, there are two things you need to remember. You can try and understand them manually. You can try and leverage AI tools to understand what they are looking at or what they may be looking at, or whether they are possibly going to convert or not. That's a big claim, right? How is that possible? In one of the sessions in the past, I linked that video somewhere, where you could use platforms like HubSpot to understand behaviors of people, behavioral patterns of people. If somebody is coming from a home page to a product page to a checkout page, what does that mean? That means he's going to be interested. That guy is better than anybody who is spending 10 minutes on the homepage for me, right? Things could go wrong, but I'm just telling you as a blind example. Now, using these platforms, you can go ahead and understand these behaviors of people, start putting them into buckets. People who visited the homepage, people who visited the product page, people who visited the checkout page, people who came to the homepage but did nothing, people who came to the homepage, then product page, then dropped off. You see how these behaviors are shaping up? Now, what I do, or what these platforms help me do, is to put these users into different buckets. Now, what do I do after I put them into buckets? So you have HubSpot, you have MailChimp, you have Sendinblue, you have MooseSend, you have right message at the right time platforms like like web personalization is possible, dynamic content is possible. Now these tools will help me get the messaging done, but the magic here is I'm able to know segments of users, not because I thought they were relevant, because the system is looking at the data and telling me this guy has a better chance of converting because he has visited the product page and he also added the product to the checkout page. But for some reason, he did not go ahead and purchase the product, right? Now, I know people who fall into that bucket. I also know people who are into the home page and product page, but then dropped off. What could be the reasons for somebody dropping off at the product page? Now, maybe the price is a problem. Maybe the product is a problem. Maybe the reviews are bad. There could be any reasons, right? So that is where I will start drilling down my thought process. and I'll start my thinking hats on, and I'll try different variations of new creatives, remarketing ads, different emails, different discounts, because I know what these segments are now, right? So that is why this is the turning point of your AI marketing funnel, where you segment audiences and you will start trying to understand what each of these segments are based on behaviors and data, not guessing, right? This is just the turning point. Wait until the magic happens. This is only identifying different buckets of people, but you have not yet gone ahead and addressed those buckets, and you have not even started speaking to these guys yet, right? That taking the first step, or asking the girl out, as I say, happens at the intent stage. Now, how do you make sure the guy who has come to your website has you hooked him with the right interest by providing him anything that he wanted, like with things that appeal to him? For example, a calculator, a loan calculator, an EMI calculator, a car estimate, or the right kind of car, or let's say right kind of healthcare package, right kind of insurance. You have gone ahead and asked him a quiz to understand about his health, understand about his skin, whatever. Any product can have about quizzes around them that can make it really, really interesting for people to go ahead and get hooked onto it, right? Now, when you have these things, now you got him interested in that. Now you have, after he behaves a certain way, you also now have his you also understand his behaviors now. This is where you will go ahead and give him the right message at the right time. How is that done? That's done through something called as personalization. There are at least a dozen tools which will help you with personalizing things. For example, a guy who has looked at the homepage but not converted, but didn't budge. He didn't even take a step. There's another person who has gone ahead and looked at the product page. Another visitor has looked at the product page, which means between these two guys, the guy who has looked at the product page is important to me because maybe he has a better chance of conversion. Now, I will start personalizing content to him. It could be an email, it could be an SMS, it could be a discount coupon that I can go ahead and send it to him and send him. I can try employ multiple techniques, but what matters here is how are you able to personalize it to him? And here is the best part. When I say these are AI based funnels and not your regular funnels, you don't need to do anything. You don't even need to move a finger. What you need to do is these segments are predefined at the consideration stage. At the consideration stage. Now, to each of these groups, based upon their behaviors, you can set different automation workflows to send content automatically. Now, here is the kicker. This content is not just any predefined content. It is not that, okay, you guessed, you predicted. You're not Nostradamus that you have gone ahead and predicted certain things will happen. This is defined by data, and once these segments are formed, or when people are grouped into different segments, you can leverage tools like AI tools like ChatGPT, Copy.ai, and you can craft tailor messages based on their behavior with appropriate images if possible, using image generation tools or generative AI tools. And these can be automatically be sent without your intervention. This is where the magic happens, and this is why, and this is how AI and automation will change how your funnels work. Now, once that is done, where you have personalized, not just personalization, you can go ahead and understand how people behave, right? You can understand how much of the content people are interacting with. You can also understand, you can also leverage dynamic pricing, which means when people are coming from an location like India, you can show a lower price. When people are coming from the US, you can show a higher price. When people from a category who has visited the product page thrice but is still not purchasing it, this guy is sensitive to price. So you will go ahead and adjust the pricing appropriate, or you can try and upsell something, cross sell something. All these can be done automatically. Then you will go ahead and have cha-ching, you have the purchase, right? Now, once the purchase happens, then you will have automated support of these things going into your CRM, these entries getting into CRM, automated emails going out after he has made a purchase, service side of things. Then you can try and have tools, then you can have some automation set up to retain these customers. How do you wow them, and how do you delight them, and how do you hold on to them? And then you have loyalty programs about how you can, all these things happen automatically without you having to move your finger. Now, this is how your AI is this is how you map your AI and automation technologies and strategies with different stages of the funnel.